Let's get across the market mayhem today. Ed, as I say, it was a wild night for big tech stocks in America. So how did we fare here in Australia?
Ross, it was a wild night on Wall Street, but not so wild on the ASX today. The local market held up surprisingly well. The futures market was suggesting a fall of more than 1% this morning, but that didn't happen. You can see the ASX 200 opened higher today and swung up and down before finishing the day up about 0.6%. The Aussie dollar lifted ahead of the US non-farms payrolls data, which should come out later tonight. One Aussie dollar is buying about 71.43 US cents. Some of the best performing stocks in the top 200 included News Corp, the owner of this TV network, and Qantas Airways. News Corp reported an increase in earnings in the half year and said its streaming services Binge and Kayo had both reached more than 1 million total subscribers. Some of the weaker performers today included four-wheel drive outfitting company ARB Corp and construction materials maker Boral. Boral shares were down because it traded ex-dividend after returning $3 billion in capital to shareholders. And Ross, we've got to talk about some of the big fluctuations in US companies overnight. They clearly had an impact on the ASX today, particularly Meta.
OK, let's go to Meta for starters. Let's try and explain this to people. So Facebook changes its name to Meta. Mark Zuckerberg is the big shareholder there. And the shares got hammered because it failed to meet all of the targets that the markets expected it to in its quarterly report, didn't it?
Ross, its shares plunged about 26%. It set a record that no company ever wants to set, and that is the largest fall in a single trading session on Wall Street. So about 230 billion US dollars was wiped off its market value, 320 billion in Aussie dollars. And look, that's roughly the size, Ross, of Commonwealth Bank and BHP together.
That's just both of those click gone in the snap of a fingers. OK, but then the second part about this is also there were others that kind of came in. And, you know, one of the problems for Meta right now is where they're losing some of their young audience. But others seem to go OK that are appealing to that younger audience, aren't they?
Yeah, Ross, Meta lost about 1 million users over the previous reporting period, and a lot of them were young users. And we have a little grab here from a New York-based analyst who gives his views on the outlook for Meta over the next year.
When you listen to Zuckerberg, a big part of what he said is his concern that a lot of users, especially in the millennial generation or the younger population, was moving more towards TikTok. So the question we have as investors is that a short-term trend or is that more of a long-term trend? And that's a major concern.
So TikTok's a big threat to Meta, but also to Snapchat. Now, Snapchat is another social networking platform, Ross, and it is not hemorrhaging users like Meta has been. So it's actually done surprisingly well in after-hours trading. So overnight, Snap's shares did fall. That was in line with the other tech stocks on Wall Street. But you can see here there was a clear bounce in overnight trade and after-hours trade for Snap. It's up about 60%. So an incredible bounce back here for Snap.
Just amazing. The other one was Amazon. It also helped save the day as well. And Jeff Bezos on the way through.
Definitely. Look, Amazon has done pretty well in its first quarter. Profit was actually up. It's not having, there's obviously supply chain problems, but it seems to be dealing with them very well. Obviously, Jeff Bezos is the major shareholder and his wealth just skyrocketed about 30 billion US dollars overnight. So a big win for him.